What an exciting playoff so far. We finally saw some road teams win, the Pacers, the Mavs, and the Heat. Now, my model did predict the Heat would cover the spread. They were given 14.5 points before Wednesday night's game. It did not predict that they would win the game, though. A lot of interesting matchups here. And in Game 3, we get to see the road teams become the home teams. So the home arena switch, the home crowd switch. It should be very exciting to see how these teams do in different environments. What's up, everybody? This is Kerry. In this video, I'm going to give you predictions using the model for Round 1, Game 3 of the NBA playoffs. Here's how the model's done so far with the first 2 games in Round 1. Overall, we're 10-6 for a 62.5% win rate. So now that we have the lower seeds going back home in front of their home crowds, let's see how the model adjusts and what predictions it's going to make for us. This is going to be predictions for April 25th through April 27th, Round 1, Game 3. So our first game is on April 25th, and we have the Magic at home versus the Cavaliers. As you can see here on the right, the model thinks the Magic are 6.9 points better than the Cavaliers when the Magic are at home. And what's interesting to me, if you look at the offensive rating and defensive rating for the Cavs on the road this season so far, they're not as good as a team on the road. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. This is the first game on April 25th. The next game is the 76ers at home against the Knicks. As you see on the far right-hand side here, the 76ers are a 1.3 point favorite against the Knicks. Because the Knicks are getting 4.5 points, that means we're going to actually pick the Knicks there to cover the spread. Next, we have the Lakers at home against the Nuggets, and we're seeing that the Lakers are getting 3.4 points against the Nuggets. So this is also an interesting point spread here. And because the Lakers are favored by just 1 or 1.5 points, then that means that the model will pick the Lakers to cover the spread. In the first game on April 26th, on Friday night at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the Pacers at home against the Bucks. And we know the Pacers just beat the Bucks pretty handily in Milwaukee. Now that they're at home in front of their home crowd, they're 8-point favorites to win this game. Because the spread value on the books is 4.5 to 5 points, we're going to pick the Pacers here to cover the spread. This is an interesting one. The Mavs are only 1.5 point underdogs at home against the Clippers. Now, I didn't see this one coming as far as the model goes here, and that's perfectly fine. You might think that the Mavs are actually heavy favorites here to win this game, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But as I've said all along in these videos, I'm going to continue looking at the model and just give you the model picks here. So interesting one here that the Mavs are still slight underdogs at home versus the Clippers. But a similar story here with the home team, the Suns are still underdogs. Now, according to the point spreads on the books, they're 4.5 point favorites right now on April 25th. So with that in mind, we'd actually pick the Timberwolves to cover the spread when we give them 4.5 points. For this game's on Saturday, April 27th. We have the Pelicans at home versus the Thunder. Now, I know the Thunder just blew out the Pelicans at home, but at home, the Pelicans are 1.5 point favorites. And that means since we're giving the Pelicans 1.5 points on the books, that means they're going to be the pick according to this model. The final game we have here are the Heat at home versus the Celtics. Again, this is on Saturday, April 27th. So since the Heat are given 8.5 points for the books, that means we're going to pick the Heat with 8.5 points to cover the spread. Here are the current spread lines for April 25th, 2024. And as you can see here, Cleveland is now an underdog at the Magic. The Knicks are underdogs at the 76ers. The Denver Nuggets are underdogs and maybe favorites as well against the Lakers here. The Bucks are definitely bigger underdogs here at the Pacers. And the Clippers are also underdogs at the Mavs. So these are just 5 of the 8 games. But now we're going to go to the summary and see what the model predicts. Here we go. The model predicts the Magic to cover the spread. Because the model had a bigger spread on that one, it'll pick the Magic minus 1.5. The model also predicted the 76ers to win, but by a very smaller margin. So the Knicks, given 5 points, are now the favorite here for the model. The Lakers are favored -1 against the Nuggets. The Pacers, they were given more than 4.5 points, so we picked the Pacers at -4.5 to cover the spread against the Bucks. The Clippers on the road are given 4.5 points. So that's a little bit, it's kind of an interesting spread there. They actually are favored in this game by the model, just barely. So when they're given 4.5 points, that's going to be the pick here for the model. The Timberwolves +4.5 against the Suns. Now the 2 8 seeds here, the Pelicans +1.5 against the Thunder. The Pelicans are at home, and the Heat at home are +8.5. Now again, the Celtics are favored to win this game according to the model, but not by 8.5 points. So we'll give the Heat 8.5 points, and that's going to be the spread pick for all 8 games in Round 1, Game 3. It's been a really exciting time, and I really enjoy making these videos. I really like looking at the data and updating that between the different games, Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3. I'm going to make the model more transparent and show you how I actually build it out on either Saturday or Sunday this weekend. Looking forward to that video. Looking forward to these games tonight, April 25th. Can't wait to see them. Have a good one.